There are 4 ways to buy a car in Japan: the easy way, the hard way, the insane way, and the no way. The easiest way is to go to an American dealership. You will find these next to army bases. Here in Okinawa, we have Johnny's Used Cars. I went there. They were super nice. They speak English. Everything's priced in dollars. They make the paperwork extremely easy, and they can even sell you car insurance right there. If you just want a car, find an American-style dealership in Japan and just buy a car. The hard way is to go to a Japanese dealership. If you want a specific type of car, Japanese dealerships will have way more selection. They have great customer service, English translation on your phone, and they'll make the paperwork as easy as possible. Japanese dealerships will have the little flower decorations, and they'll have a ton of used cars, all clean, all ready to go. The insane way to buy a car is from the Japanese repair shops. Their business model is fixing cars, and they will have used cars for sale, but that's not how they make money. They make money fixing cars. Typically, they have no business hours posted, or they don't obey their own business hours that are posted. They have no phone number, or they don't answer their phone ever. They will not deal with Gaijin. They will not speak to Gaijin. They won't speak to you even in Japanese. They legit don't care. They don't care about selling used cars. And honestly, they don't even understand the paperwork process with used cars. The only reason you would go to one of these businesses is if you were dead set on buying a super specific type of car in Japan, and the only place you could find it was at a Japanese repair shop. Otherwise, don't waste your time. They will not deal with you. The final way to buy a car in Japan is the no way, buying a car from a Japanese person private party. In America, you might buy a car off Craigslist. That will never happen in Japan. Even if you speak Japanese, they will not know what the hell you are talking about. No one sells cars private party in Japan. They will sell the car to the dealership or nothing, and then someone will buy that used car from the dealership. Do not approach Japanese people with crazy cars that you want to buy. It will never happen. Sorry to interrupt, but if you're serious about moving to Japan, you need to check out oneyearvisa.com. We've got a lot more videos like this, and we can save you hundreds of dollars on your student visa. Click the link below. Why did it take 3 months for me to buy a car in Japan? First of all, most of the vans were total junk. I looked at 8 sandbar vans. Some were okay. Some were completely destroyed. Some places wouldn't deal with me because I was Gaijin. Looked at some other types of vans, and I was literally too tall to drive them. So eventually I found a super clean sandbar, paid a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but I was done looking, and it was time to buy a car. The second reason it took me so long to buy a car is that I didn't understand shakin. This is the Japanese vehicle inspection process. Every 2 years, every single car in Japan needs to be inspected. So when you're shopping for a used car in Japan, pretty much you're going to go to goonet.com. There's other websites, but this is the one. You want to use the Japanese version of this website. There is an English version. It is not the same. Use the Japanese version and translate it into English. Let's say you want to buy a sandbar van. So when you're looking through all the sandbar vans for sale, what you want to see is a fair price. You want to look at the pictures, make sure it's not destroyed. You won't really be able to tell from the pictures. You'll need to see it in person. But the most important thing is that you see right here, with vehicle inspection maintenance. So in this price right here, in the total payment price included is 2-year shakin inspection. You'll see that the van has no license plate. How this works is that at some point a vehicle will get a shakin. It will get a new license plate. It will have a sticker on the dash. That sticker and that license plate basically go hand in hand. When the shakin is about to run out, let's say the dealer will contact the DMV of Japan and say, I am taking this vehicle off the road and canceling the shakin. So when you see a vehicle with no plate for sale, it will need a full vehicle inspection, a full 2-year shakin. The shakin costs money, and the repairs that are needed to pass the shakin will cost additional money. So when you buy a vehicle, it needs to come with the full inspection included in the price. One more thing, a vehicle with no plate cannot be test driven. That's just how it works here. Let's look at this next van. See, it has a plate on it, and you see the vehicle inspection still has some time on it, and you notice that the price is cheaper. So part of the van's inherent value is the length of time left on the shakin. What's slightly risky about buying this van is that you buy it and there's no shakin done. So several months later or a year later, it's shakin time, and now you are responsible for dealing with the shakin. and you are responsible for paying for the repairs so the van passes Shakin. When you buy a car with the full inspection included, the dealer handles all of that, and it's a nightmare. It's worth paying for a full vehicle inspection. You look at this final van, and you look at the price. Oh my God, it's so cheap. This is crazy. You look at the miles, super high miles. You look at the vehicle inspection, it says none. So what they're saying is this vehicle has been run into the ground, and we're selling it to you for this price with no inspection. It's on you to do that. And whatever it costs, that's your problem. They're just trying to get rid of this car. You might ask them, how much will it be with a Shakin? They will tell you, we don't know. You have to buy the vehicle first, and then we'll see what it costs to do the Shakin. Could be all these mysterious problems making the Shakin super expensive. So now what you've done is you've bought a junk vehicle and paid an insane amount of money for a new Shakin, and you're driving junk when you could have just paid a little bit more to get a nice van that came with a full Shakin, and it's going to be easy for that van to pass a Shakin because it's not junk. Beater vehicles in Japan are worthless. Nobody buys them because the Shakin gets you. You need to know that. Third thing, my documents weren't ready. I had an international driver's license, which I got in America. I'm assuming you're American. Just go to this website. You can get one in America. You can get one in the mail. You can even get one mailed to you in Japan. You will need the Incon. This is a personal stamp. I didn't understand this at first, but then I realized that Japanese people cannot sign their name. There is no such thing as a signature in Japan, so this is your signature. Like I said, I live in Naha, Okinawa. I went to the local Hanko shop. I told them I needed the Jitsu-in style Hanko. This is the type of Hanko that can be registered, not the toy garbage Hanko. I got the medium size. It cost me around $60. Took about 3 days to make it, and I bought a case as well. So here's what it looked like when I picked it up. It just has my last name, nothing fancy. You need this to work. If you want another crazy Hanko, just get those made at the convenience store. It's possible that you could accomplish all this crazy paperwork in one day. So you go to the number 17 kiosk, and you show them the Hanko, and you show them your residence card. And you tell them you want to register it. They will give you this little yellow piece of paper. Fill it out. They'll give you a number. Take the paper and the Hanko and the number, and you get in line to talk to the other booth. The line will move quickly. When it's your turn, you give them the paper and the Hanko. They will quickly make a new paper, and they will give you a little ticket. They will take your Hanko and the papers. You will take the little ticket and go to this machine. You will pay a couple hundred yen, and the machine will give you a receipt. You will sit down. You will look at the original number they gave you at booth 17, and you will wait for that number to be called. You look at the board, you see your number, you get up, and you walk to the booth where that number is being displayed. Your Hanko will be ready, the paperwork will be ready, and they will give you this certification paper and this little plastic card. I have not needed to show anybody the paper or the card, but I have it, and you need it. Next thing you need, and already have, is your residence card. That was easy. Okay, so next you need to get your registered address card. This also has something to do with national health insurance. So you go back to the number 17 kiosk, tell them you want to register your address. They'll give you a form. You fill it out with the address that you're staying at, put it in an envelope. They'll give you a number. Once again, you go to the line, you wait in line. When it's your turn, you give them the paper. They'll give you a ticket. You take the ticket to the machine, pay some yen, wait for your number to get called. The number gets called, and you'll get a little green card like this. Next, you need a residence certificate. It's a pink paper. Go to the number 9 kiosk next to the number 17 kiosk. You will get a small white piece of paper. You'll fill out that paper. You go to booth 17. They'll probably help you. They are very helpful. And then they'll give you a number. You wait in the line. You give them the paper. They'll give you the ticket. You pay at the machine. Wait for your number. Your number gets called. You go to the appropriate booth, and they give you a pink residence certificate. Okay, you're done at City Hall. Next, you need the documents that the dealership will need so they can get your parking place certificate. There are 3 ways to get a parking place certificate. Rent an apartment with a parking spot. This is what I did. You will go to Goo Home or any one of the other real estate websites in Japan. You'll search for an apartment. Make sure you specify with parking. You will rent the apartment. Side note, extremely difficult to rent an apartment in Japan. I have a different video on that. Quite possibly the hardest thing I've ever done. End of side note. After you've successfully rented the apartment, the real estate agent will give you a document with the location of the parking place and a copy of your lease. These documents are sufficient to get the parking place certificate. Your second option is to rent a nearby parking spot. Once again, go to GooHome. This time you select parking lots. You'll find one within 2 kilometers of your registered address. You can see here that this parking place will cost you roughly $50 a month. They will give you a parking certificate for around $250. And to draw up this extremely simple contract, they want to charge you about $1,300. So you're looking at spending a little under $200 a month for a parking place. Your third option, this will require some research on your part, is to live outside the city limits. In Okinawa, if you live in Naha or Okinawa City, car owners are required to have parking places and parking place certificates. If you don't live in those cities, you do not need the parking place certificate to buy a car. Okay, now you have all the documents and the cash deposit, and you've looked at some cars, and you're ready to buy the car. So here's how it went for me. When buying a car in Japan, you can haggle, but it's more common to ask for new oil change, air filter, spark plugs, and new tires. I got all my documents together and my Japanese friend. We went to the car dealership. We told them I wanted to buy the van. They were excited. We went into the office. They put one paper on the table. I pretty much put my name, address, and contact information on the paper. I left around $500 deposit. They also got the contact information of my Japanese friend. They told us it would take 1 to 2 weeks, and they would call my Japanese friend when the car was ready. So the dealership made copies of all my documents. They took the copy of the map of the parking place and the copy of the lease at the police station. The police did their thing and created the parking place certificate. The dealership then took the parking place certificate and the other documents to the DMV with the car. They got the car inspected. They got the new title created in my name. They got the new plate and the Shokkan sticker on the van. They bring the van back to the dealership. They call my friend. They said the car's ready. We went back to the dealership. I brought the papers just in case. I brought the Incon. They brought out the original document that I signed in the dealership. They took the Incon. We stamped the document. They had a carbon copy. They ripped off the original. They would keep the original. They give me the carbon copy. Next thing, they gave me a copy of the police parking place certificate. Next thing they gave me was the report from the Shokkan inspection. Next thing they gave me was a 3-month warranty on the van. Next thing they gave me was the Jaibaiseki car insurance document. This is a smaller document, final document, and the most important document is the actual title to the car. You do not keep this in the car. Keep it at home, just like in America. Final step, I paid them the money for the van, and they gave me the key, and it was done.